Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502.
What up? It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we back for some more of that Ali Land daily boxing talk, people. And today we talking overrated Teofimo Lopez, the new face of boxing. Plus, you know I'm on this 30-day Pacquiao challenge, y'all. So I'm on week 2. I'm on workout 8. So y'all can follow along with me today, man. See how my journey is progressing, and just have some fun with me training with boxing. So let's get into this, man. Why am I saying Teofimo Lopez is overrated? It's weird that Vasyl Lomachenko is the one that had to be taken down, because like I said a few videos ago, it's kind of ironic that the same thing happened to Guillermo Rigondeaux, and when it happened to Guillermo Rigondeaux, it was Vasyl Lomachenko who was doing it to Rigondeaux. So now it's like, man, the chickens have really come home to roost for Vasyl Lomachenko. Kind of reap what you sow sometimes. But in a strange twist of events, we're now finding out that Vasyl was actually injured, and I know a lot of boxing fans are gonna say crazy things like, oh, his shoulder was hurt, why didn't he just back out of the fight, why didn't he do blah blah blah, the same way they did Pacquiao when he revealed his shoulder injury. But what you got to understand about professional boxing is you can't, once a fight is signed, and once you've gotten into the week of the fight, there is really no backing out. Unless you don't want to get paid and don't want to get sued, there is no backing out of the fight. So you could see it written all over Lomachenko's face that there was something wrong. The same way you could kind of see it written on Manny Pacquiao's face before the Floyd Mayweather fight that something was wrong. But we're dealing with boxing fans here, so these are some of the most irrational people in the world. They don't look at boxers like they're athletes, like you would a basketball player or a football player. A basketball player can go for a dunk, come down, twist his ankle, and the whole world stops. But a boxer whose whole life depends on their shoulder movement, depends on their legs, depends on being able to stay sturdy and upright, but mostly boxing depends on your shoulders. And that's probably the worst injury in boxing is a shoulder injury. The same way in basketball, a hamstring injury or a ACL injury could end your career. In boxing, a torn shoulder ligament could end your career. It could be the complete, demise of your whole boxing career. I've had a torn rotator cuff. That's one of the reasons I actually got into training with boxing when I first started dealing with boxing as far as working out, was because I wanted to rehab my shoulder. And I felt like a lot of people when they rehab a shoulder injury, they'll tell you to not do strenuous things with your shoulder because it's going to aggravate the injury. But I read a lot of articles surrounding healing a shoulder injury, and the number one piece of advice I got from those articles was to make the muscles around whatever torn muscle you have stronger, so whatever muscle that is torn will rebuild itself easier because the other muscles are supporting what the torn muscle can't support. So basically that's the reason I started getting into boxing. But I say all that to say this: it's ironic that Teofimo Lopez took out Vasyl Lomachenko, who ironically had the same injury Manny Pacquiao had. And now the same way that people are talking about Guillermo Rigondeaux and his boxing career and trying to say he's not credible. He's not a great athlete. He didn't do amazing things in the boxing ring. They're trying to do the same thing to Vasyl Lomachenko, while at the same time praising a guy who's only had 15 professional fights. Now, this doesn't even make sense. Now I'm getting to the reason why I'm calling him overrated. And I'm not saying he's overrated in the sense that he's not a good boxer. He didn't perform well when he fought Vasyl, or he's not in a lot of ways legit. But we got to look at the bigger picture here. He's only had 15 professional fights compared to Vasyl Lomachenko, who might as well have had over 100 professional fights, even though a lot of that was considered amateurs or Olympic fighting. Once you've hit 20, 30 fights, you're a professional fighter. I heard somebody else say that earlier in the video, that once you hit a certain amount of fights, you might as well not even call yourself an amateur. Now, I believe it was Floyd Mayweather. Why are you still calling yourself an amateur? You're a professional fighter now. So there's no way you should be taking you should be taking accolades away from Vasyl Lomachenko, who's had over 300 fights, and praising a guy who got lucky, who caught a fighter on a bad night, and who is now being hailed as the best fighter in the world after only 16 fights. It's like, come on, man. What are we thinking about here? As boxing fans, this is kind of it's kind of an ignorant way of thinking, and I hate to say it like that because I hate to call anybody ignorant, but that's an ignorant way of thinking. The guy's a good fighter. He showed great skill. He has great skill sets, but he caught a fighter on a bad night. Anybody can be caught on a bad night. We saw Manny Pacquiao, one of the greatest fighters in the world, get caught on a bad night. We've seen Floyd Mayweather, who just so happens when he got caught on his bad night, he had a lot of people backing him, so he might have lost the fight in a lot of people's mind to a certain fighter, but he still got the victory. He still got caught on a bad night. Roy Jones got caught on a bad night. Mike Tyson got caught on a bad night. Ali got caught on. It's boxing. It's supposed to happen. But I'm, my point of saying that he's overrated is it's crazy how people will praise one fighter in one moment and then turn around and try to tear everything he's built down in the next moment, while at the same time you're praising the guy who's only had 15 professional fights. Now you got to think about that for a second here, man. You're comparing a guy who's had over 300 fights to a guy who's only had 15 professional fights. That's like comparing Kobe Bryant's whole career to a guy who's coming out of high school and jumped straight into the league, who hasn't even scored a point in the league. Although the guy who came into the league ended up on the championship team his first year, even though he might not even shot a single shot. And don't get me wrong here, I'm not in no way dissing Teofimo Lopez or trying to diminish his accomplishment at all. What I'm saying here is, let's tread a little lightly on throwing guys up into the greatness status off of one fight. Now we're talking, not we, but now people are talking about this guy jumping up in the weight, 140, maybe even 147 to fight Manny Pacquiao, because I seriously doubt Manny Pacquiao's going to go down to 140 pounds to fight him, even if it's for all those titles. That at this point it's completely ridiculous, man. It's almost a joke, you know what I'm saying? Let's give this guy time to develop as a fighter, because he's having a Cinderella story. This is a real life Rocky story, to come from nowhere, 15 fights, to becoming the unified champion in one fight. It's something that's never going to be repeated in history. You're never going to see a guy with that few fights jump up and become champion that fast, and not only become champion that fast, but become unified champion that fast. So let's pump our brakes a little bit. Manny Pacquiao's a different level of fighter. Even if you put him in there with Kell Brook, I would still say, hey man, there's no chance for this guy to win that fight. He jumps up to 147 pounds. Kell Brook's gonna knock him out. Amir Khan's gonna knock him out. These guys are on a whole different level, and he just accomplished something very big. But let's be super realistic here, and let's just tell it like it is. Manny Pacquiao now, at his age now, would have destroyed Vasyl Lomachenko when he first unified all those belts. He would have destroyed Vasyl because of the size difference. You can see Vasyl can't take a heavy punch. Manny Pacquiao is one of the heaviest punching welterweights out there. Even though he's so small, he's still one of the heaviest punching welterweights that's out there. So, what would have happened if Pacquiao would have actually fought Vasyl Lomachenko? We would have seen something similar to what Teofimo Lopez was able to accomplish against him, except Vasyl would have been at 100%, and we know now that Vasyl wasn't at 100% when he fought Teofimo Lopez. So, I won't call it an asterisk. He still won all those titles. He did a great job. He's going to be an amazing fighter. But I would say that there's a blemish next to that fight, just like I give Floyd Mayweather a blemish when he fought Manny Pacquiao the first time, because Pacquiao was hurt. And I'm a realist when it comes to boxing and boxing injuries. Like I said, I've hurt my shoulder in the past. I know how much it can affect you because I play basketball a lot, and it really affected my game because I'm not able to shoot in the way I wanted to shoot. I can't shoot as many times as I want to shoot. I can't use my hands on defense in a certain way because my shoulder would come out of the socket. I know what type of effect a shoulder injury can have on you. So, I'm a realist when it comes to saying, okay, the guy was injured, give him his props for even getting in there fighting, because let's be real again, Vasyl Lomachenko was coming back in that fight. He didn't win. He didn't come close to winning because he lost 8 rounds. And if you add 4 more rounds onto that, that's the fight. There was, even though he won those, I won't say he won those last 4 rounds either. He came close to winning those last 4 rounds, but I would give him 3 of the last 4, and that's the only rounds you can really give him in the fight. You can't give him no more than really 3 rounds, and you're being really gracious if you give him those 3 rounds, because Teofimo was fighting back the whole time. So you could easily have gave Teofimo 12 rounds straight, and I wouldn't even be mad at you, because that's the way the fight really played out. He looked real timid, real reserved, the same way Pacquiao did when he fought Mayweather. So, we just gotta be realistic here, man. There's no way that Teofimo Lopez is jumping up in weight and fighting Manny Pacquiao, number one, because there's no money in it. Let's be honest. There's no money in it. Even though he's got all those titles, there's no money in him fighting Teofimo Lopez, because he's become overnight famous, but he's not at iconic status like a Manny Pacquiao. It's the reason Pacquiao is only going for certain fights. Fighters have to be on a certain level to even want to challenge him at this point. You know what I'm saying? Number 2, he's not going down in weight, so we can just get that out of our mind. I don't see it happening at this point in his career, and the fact that he's on his way out, I don't think he's going to waste a fight trying to do something he could have done 10 years ago, and actually he did 10 years ago, jumping up all those weight classes. So he's already proved that he can go through multiple weight classes and beat guys. No reason for him to take a step back. So, I'm not calling Teofimo completely overrated. I just think people are jumping the gun on him a little bit. I think that he's destined for greatness if he can move up in weight, but do it slowly and cautiously. Not just jumping up and try to fight guys who are really overmatched for him at this point. That's kind of foolish for you to. It worked with a lower weight class and an injured fighter, but it's not going to work for him to jump up and be like, hey, I can go fight Terrence Crawford because I beat Vasyl Lomachenko. I can go fight Earl Spence because I beat Vasyl Lomachenko. it don't make no sense. You don't see any other fighter out there who's going to try to make that type of jump, with the exception of one of the most talented fighters ever, Manny Pacquiao. He took on all challenges, and I would give Teofimo Lopez a lot of credit if he did decide to jump up in weight. I just don't see him winning, and the problem with that is if he jumps up in weight, gets beat, or even if they fight at 140 pounds, which I don't see it happening, because at 140 pounds, those titles are not on the line. It would have to be at 135, and Pacquiao's not going to lose 17 pounds at this point in his career to go fight, But let's say he did jump up in weight, right? He fights a Manny Pacquiao. He loses. He becomes instantly unfamous at that point. He's not going to have the same roaring fan base behind him like he does right now, because he did what people thought was impossible by beating Vasyl Lomachenko. There were guys who were saying Vasyl could beat Mayweather, Vasyl could beat Pacquiao, Vasyl can jump up and beat Crawford. It was silly, and now that people are looking at what they were saying about Vasyl as being silly, but nobody's looking at them saying all this stuff about Teofimo as being silly, because he's bigger than Lomachenko. They feel like he can just easily make that transition, and it's what I hate about the sport of boxing. I like his story for the sport of boxing because it brings a lot of fans into it. It's the Cinderella story, but I hate those type of stories because they bring the bandwagon hoppers, and bandwagon hoppers are some of the most vicious fans, man. They'll speak highly of you at one moment, and then as soon as you lose, i.e. Guillermo Rigondeaux, i.e. Vasyl Lomachenko, as soon as you lose, you're the biggest piece of trash in the world. You're useless. Move on. Why are you even still in the sport? It's ridiculous, man. But I want to give full props still to Teofimo Lopez for what he was able to accomplish. I'm not ragging on him. I don't think he's not a talented fighter. I don't think that he's not going to be big in the future. I just think everything that people are saying right now, it's not going to play out like a lot of these bandwagon hoppers think it's going to play out. He's not going to be able to just jump up and dominate higher weight classes because he beat Vasyl Lomachenko. Let's be real, boxing enthusiasts here. It just doesn't. It played out like that against Vasyl for a certain reason. Now that we hear the whole story, there was something behind why Vasyl went out the way he did, and even the Guillermo Rigondeaux fight, he was trying to state his case that he was injured, and nobody wanted to hear it. Nobody wanted to listen. A lot of Vasyl Lomachenko fans need to be rethinking what they were probably saying about Manny Pacquiao at this point, when Pacquiao said he lost to Floyd because his shoulder was injured. Now they got the egg on their face, man. This whole situation is real ironic, man. It's funny. It's great for the sport of boxing. I'm enjoying the Cinderella story. It's always good to have a Cinderella story in boxing. People love a Rocky story, man. You love a Rocky story. So all this is great for boxing, man. Congratulations once again to Teofimo Lopez. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section, man. Is Teofimo Lopez overrated, or is he the new face of boxing? Is he going to be that next big name? Is he going to be that next dominant fighter nobody can stop? Is he going to get to 51-0 like Floyd Mayweather? He's got a long way to go, man. He's only got 16 fights. Maybe he'll get to 30-0 and retire. You know what I'm saying? That'd be great for him. It's your boy Cardinal Red, man. Like always, hit that like button for me. Please subscribe. Tell a friend. Tell your homie. If they love boxing, tune into the channel, man. We doing all type of things. Hope y'all enjoyed the workout. Sorry it was so long, but that's how I go, man. Hope y'all enjoyed what I made for my meal. I'm trying to eat right, man. Less red meat, less meat, period, man. A lot of vegetables, a lot of seafood. So, I hope you guys enjoyed my new style. This is your boy Cardinal Red. If you want to be a part of the Ali Land Boxing Talk community, hit me up in the comments section. Hit me up on Facebook at Cardinal Red Does It All. Or you can always drop me a line over in the community section, man. It's your boy, and we out of here. Oh yeah. Believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Take your dreams seriously, and you can achieve anything in life. We out of here.
Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502. Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, Louisville, Kentucky, 502.